I'm registered dietitian Abby Sharp, and on my new podcast, Bite Back with Abby Sharp, I'll be dismantling the multi-billion-dollar diet industry that keeps us in a cycle of self-loathing and food fear. Join me every Tuesday for expert interviews, engaging conversations, and my signature science and sass to bust myths, correct misinformation, and help you break free from diet culture for good. Listen for free on the Seeker app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI Studios in Toronto, Canada.
Hey Toronto, this is Ed Sheeran.
This is Kelly Clarkson.
Hi, this is Bryan Adams.
This is Adele.
This is Madonna.
It's Michael Bublé, and you're listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep Show.
It's fun. They're amazing.
Yo, you got a problem? Pooja and Gurdeep will solve it. Advice, baby.
I love when this happens. I love when we get texts from you that we all go, ooh, for. And that's what happened. We got a Dear P&G right here. This one comes in anonymously, so you know it's going to be good right away.
It's always anonymous.
As soon as I see we get a text from anonymous, I'm getting my popcorn out. Okay, so I'm going to read this to you verbatim, and we will keep you anonymous, absolutely. Here it goes. My friend and I always exchange Christmas gifts. She has expensive tastes, but doesn't necessarily have the means to support those tastes. She's been dropping hints about an expensive purse she wants.
Oh, no.
She knows I'm in a better financial position than her. I guess I'm wondering, is it okay for people to have expensive tastes at Christmas and birthdays if they can't afford those items themselves? Dear P&G, am I a jerk for even thinking this way? Signed, Anonymous.
This is a tough one. This is really tough. Okay, so I feel like obviously a lot of people live beyond their means, right? That is a thing. And people want things that they can't afford all the time. They're aspirational. I think that's normal. I don't think that just because you can't afford it, you shouldn't want it, right? I understand that. And if you're in a position where you can afford it, I'm not saying that you are obligated to get the gift, but I do think that you could do something like, oh, I know you've been talking about that purse, so here's a gift card towards, or a little bit to help you towards.
That's a good happy medium.
The gift, right? Because that's, and I will tell you this, if you're in a position of privilege, the biggest privilege is being able to make your loved ones happy and be able to give them the things that they can't give for themselves, right? So yeah. I kind of understand it, but at the same time, I don't think there should be an expectation.
Right. I do think I think you hit on something. I think there's a lot of people in their beyond their means era.
Yes.
Yeah. And people are like, a lot of people living beyond their means.
They're taking
loans or spending money they don't have. And yeah, things are getting real as mortgages are coming up for renewal and stuff like that for people who locked in during COVID. So things are tight. I think the gift card is a pretty good idea. I think it's like, hey, this purse is $1,000. Here's $200 toward that. You can crowdsource this amongst your friends because
stay within your budget.
And it also is. We need some more context too in terms of how close is this person? Is this a core friend that you want to do something? Because I have a couple of friends where I would do this kind of thing for, but I can certainly count on one hand the number of people I would overextend myself for.
Interesting.
A lot of my other friends, I'd be like, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is the friend who can't afford it buying them an expensive gift that they can't afford?
No.
Because they have expensive taste.
I'm interpreting from this, it's like, no, you're getting your $20 gift limit kind of thing, but I want that $1,000 purse.
Ah.
Yeah. Steph, what do you think?
I think that the friend that has the means to buy this, that's what I need to know. How close are they? Because my friends know me. So if they know that I had expensive taste, I wouldn't even have to drop hints. They would just get it for me. If you're dropping hints, you shouldn't be dropping hints.
I mean, there's a specific purse that she wants.
Then go buy it or save up for it. Isn't that what we were taught growing up? Like, I had to save up to buy the stuff that I wanted.
So if your friend is like going to you and me like, let's go window shopping in Yorkville, that's a red flag. Because it's like, they're just taking you.
I'll go window shopping with you, but don't start dropping hints.
That's what I'm saying. They're doing it to drop hints.
If you're
doing then you could go window shopping anywhere. Why Yorkville?
I don't know. That's why I don't think they're that close of friends. I think this person's just friends with this person because they know that they have the money and they're like, hey, I like that purse. I don't like that. I don't like the situation. It puts people in awkward positions.
I agree. I don't like the expectation because I don't think you should ever expect anything. But I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting something you can't afford.
That's fine.
And talking about it.
And if you get them a regular gift, then if they're expecting the purse from you because they know you have the means, and you get them a regular, I don't know, whatever, $100 gift card to a restaurant, a candle. You get them. My mind goes to gift cards. If you get them a candle, are they going to be making present face?
They are going to make present face.
Thanks.
Yeah,
it's vanilla bergamot.
Yeah,
they're like, one day I'm going to be able to buy my expensive purse and put my candle in it.
Okay, you know what? Why don't you tell us?
5 calls. Decide it all.
Is it okay for people to expect an expensive gift just because you can afford it? Is it okay for people to expect an expensive gift from you just because you can afford it?
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
5 calls. Decide it all.
The question this morning is it okay for people to expect an expensive gift just because you can afford it? We asked this because we got an anonymous text saying, basically, there's a person who texted us who is fairly well off.
Yep.
And she has a friend who is not as well off, and that friend has been dropping not so subtle hints about an expensive purse that she would really love for Christmas. And this person's going, is it okay for people to want this stuff even if they can't afford it just because you can?
Yeah. And are you obligated now to get this gift because this friend has been dropping the hints and they know you can afford it?
It's a little messy.
It is messy. So 5 calls decide it all. Mary from Toronto, is it okay for people to expect an expensive gift just because you can afford it? Yes or no?
Absolutely not.
No, how come?
Well, because it's just not right. Expectations shouldn't be between friends or even acquaintances.
Okay. Votes been counted. Thanks, Mary.
Thank you.
Jolene from Ajax, so what do you think? Is it okay for people to expect an expensive gift just because you can afford it?
No.
How come?
Some people use you, not because they know that you can give it to them. But some of them I don't think they deserve it either. Because some of them, they're friends, but they're just a user because they know you have the money.
Jolene, it sounds like there's a story there, but we got to move on. Your vote has been counted. Thanks, Jolene.
Cynthia from Toronto, is it okay for people to expect an expensive gift just because you can afford it?
Well, if the person's very rich and her friend is struggling quite a bit and has tried to make money and do the best they can, I think it would be kind of them to do it. You know what I mean?
So it is
or help
okay.
them at least with something they need.
So it is okay to expect it if the set of circumstances are like we laid out?
Yes.
Okay. Cynthia, your vote has been counted. Thank you for the call.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Jim from Scarborough, so what do you think? Is it okay for people to expect an expensive gift just because you can afford it? Yes or no?
No.
How come?
Not an expectation. If we want to do it, we'll do it. My wife and I are privileged to have always been successful in our career, so we can afford to do a lot of things. I like Gurdeep, I can count on one hand how many people I would go out of my way to spend the money on. But they're also very successful. The other hand, no. If I want to do it, I've purchased bigger gifts for some of our friends, but that's on us, not on them. They never expected it, never really hinted towards it. They just knew that they wanted, we had just heard they wanted something, and we did it.
Jim, your vote's been counted. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Shannon from Sharon, is it okay for people to expect an expensive gift just because you can afford it?
I call me old-fashioned, but I don't think it matters who you are or how much money you have. If a gift is given, you appreciate it, you say thank you, but you definitely don't expect anything.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty simple.
Right?
Yep.
It is. I mean, Christmas is all about giving. Isn't that what we were always taught? It's not about what you get. It's about the giving and watching the happiness of others and what you've given them. And I think when we start expecting a monetary, I think it takes it to a new level, especially now in a day and age where people are barely hanging on. So,
but Shannon, what if it's a really nice purse?
Listen, I have friends. I'm probably in my friend group, if I'm being honest, I'm probably the one who's on the lower end of the pay scales, and I am happy with whatever I get. I would never, ever, even though my friends have money, I would never expect something from them. If they get me something great and they don't care what it is, and they never look at it and go, "Ooh, gee, is that all you got me because you got money?"
Yeah.
It's an appreciation, and I think we've lost that. I think we've lost the appreciation.
Your vote's been counted. Thank you, Shannon.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
You
Keep
too.
up a great job.
Okay, so pretty decisive vote. The question was, is it okay for people to expect an expensive gift just because you can afford it? 4-1. Saying no.
Now, there you have it.
I don't know if we solved anything.
Don't get the purse, friend.
Anonymous texter, don't do it. I like your idea, Pooch. Get her a gift card towards the purse.
There you go.
A portion.
Yes.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Today is False Confession Day. So I thought this was a good opportunity to bring back 2 truths and a lie. You know the game. You give someone 3 statements. 2 of them are true. 1 of them's a lie. They have to try and figure out which is the lie. Now, we've done this probably half a dozen times on this show.
Mm-hmm.
The first 5 times, you picked out the lie so quickly. I was like, what am I doing with my face? Like, what is... The last time, I actually finally fooled you.
Yeah.
So
You might have cracked the code on how to fool me.
Would just like hide my face? I think that's what I did last time.
I think you like tweak one part of the sentence that, there's some truth to it, but then you lie in the end and then that's how you get me.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. 2 truths and a lie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what you did last time? You covered your face.
Yeah.
That's what you did.
Yeah,
okay.
doing it again.
No, I'm going to stand.
Here are your 2 truths and a lie.
Okay.
I once sprained my thumb days before a piano exam while wrestling with my brother and got an exam extension. I once ate 2 Harvey's burgers right before a house league hockey game and then got benched because I could barely move out there. I once flew all the way to the UK for just 3 days to see one of my favorite bands, Muse, live in concert at Wembley Stadium.
You really did cover your face.
Yeah.
Now I have to just go on the content.
You know when you watch poker?
Yeah.
Like the hood and the sunglasses? That's me.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
I'm Daniel. I'm the Daniel Negreanu of Two Truths and a Lie.
Okay. If there was a way to get out of piano lessons, I feel like you would come up with it. And like, you'd be like, I was wrestling. Oh, I can. You got an extension. That would happen to you. I feel like that's true. I know you played hockey and you had like that one moment where you scored a goal and everybody went crazy. And that was one of your favorite moments. So I know that's true that you played. Is it true that happened with the Harvey's burgers? I'm not sure.
2 Harvey's burgers.
2. And then what was the last one?
The last one is, I once flew all the way to UK for just 3 days to see one of my favorite bands, Muse, live in concert at Wembley Stadium.
Could you go to, you have a lot of family there. Could you go there only for 3 days and they let you? That's a tough one. Okay, I'm going to go with the Harvey's one being the lie.
I once ate 2 Harvey's burgers right before a house league hockey game and then got benched because I could barely move out there. That is incorrect.
Oh!
That happened. Your boy ate 2 Harvey's burgers an hour before a house league hockey game, got benched. Worst idea I've ever had. The one that is not true is that I did not fly to the UK. I've seen Muse twice in concert, but in Toronto. I thought about flying to Wembley to see them, but I didn't do it.
See, that's something you would do.
Yeah, 2 in a row, baby. I'm such a good liar.
Yeah, you got to cover your face. Play the right way next time.
Well, the worst, to make matters worse for you, Pooch, you might be slipping because Blair and Steph both knew that my number 3 was the lie.
Okay.
With my face covered.
Okay.
So
maybe you've turned a corner now. You can fool me.
Maybe. Fool me once. I fooled you twice now, so shame on you. Let's have yours. Let's have your 2 truths and a lie.
Okay, here we go. I used to work as a mall greeter during Christmas at Square One.
Okay.
I used to work at a flower shop removing rose thorns. I used to work in a photo lab for a guy named Babu.
It better not be you worked in a photo lab, but the guy's name was like Raj or something. Give me them again real quick.
Okay, I used to work as a mall greeter during Christmas at Square One.
Okay.
I used to work at a flower shop removing rose thorns. I used to work in a photo lab for a guy named Babu. I had a lot of jobs, just so you know.
Okay, let's all make a guess separately. I'm going to say number 2 is the lie. Blair?
Number 1.
Number 1. Used to work as a mall greeter during Christmas at Square One. Blair and Steph, you are correct. That is the lie.
You 2 are 2 for 2. Man.
I did. I used to work at a flower shop. It's called La Florist, and that was my job.
Yo, Blair and Steph, you 2 need to get on the World Poker Tour ASAP.
They know us.
Yeah, seriously.
They really know us.
Better than we know each other? What?
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
I'm registered dietitian Abby Sharp, and on my new podcast, Bite Back with Abby Sharp, I'll be dismantling the multi-billion-dollar diet industry that keeps us in a cycle of self-loathing and food fear. Join me every Tuesday for expert interviews, engaging conversations, and my signature science and sass to bust myths, correct misinformation, and help you break free from diet culture for good. Listen for free on the Seeker app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Taking care of a 19-month-old is like taking care of your drunk best friend every day. All day. They're crying.
Yeah.
When they don't get what they want. You're making sure they make it to the bathroom. And they're out of their minds, and you're making sure they don't die all day long.
Of course.
And then they black out, and you're like ready to die. And they wake up, and they're like, what's for breakfast? And you're like, what? I'm like, do you even know what happened last night?
That's Kaylee Cuoco, who was recently on Jimmy Fallon. And why do I feel like that is your life, Booch?
That is my life. That is so well described. And I add kids being sick to the mix. Both of my kids, they're both 2, just started preschool. So since September, it's been nonstop. They're getting sick, then we get sick. And I'm kind of okay with that part. I figured as much. It happens to everyone. The part I'm having trouble with is, why do I get sick and then lose my voice? I keep losing my voice.
I feel like you've had a really rough couple of months. Welcome back, by the way. I want to say that and then jinx it and then lose you again because it's been a lot of stop and start the last, 6-8 weeks. You sent us a voice note yesterday morning at like 4 a.m. being like, this is what I sound like. Should I come in? And it was not good.
Yeah.
So we said stay home. You sound much better today.
Much better. So I got a little bit of rest, which I think makes a difference as well. Also, I went to go see an ENT last week, ear, nose, and throat specialist. And they gave me some advice because I said, what's going on? I guess I have some nodes on my vocal cords, which they say with time and with rest. Yeah, where am I going to get that from? It will heal on its own. I don't need surgery or anything like that. But they gave me some things to work on, and they know what I do for a living. So I'm going to try it right now with you.
Vocal exercises?
Yes, kind of. Right. It's actually just a different way to speak. So I guess they hear me speak and they hear it coming from my throat.
Yes, a lot of us do that.
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah, and I have a bit of a rasp. I always have. So instead, they said what my voice is called teacher voice, right? Where, it's authoritative. It's a little more projecting when you're speaking, right? It's got that, like your teacher, right?
Okay.
They want me to work on...
You need principal voice.
No.
Custodian voice.
No. Close. Confidential voice.
Confidential voice?
They want me to talk as if somebody's in the other room and you don't want them to hear what you're going to say, because that will help with my voice. So it's like... It would be like if we were, gossiping at the water cooler and you don't want anybody else to know.
They want you to talk like that all the time?
They do, yeah. So like take it down a little bit, okay? And then on top of it, ready for this? They want me to over-enunciate everything I say on a go-forward. As I am speaking in confidential voice, I must also always enunciate. And as long as I enunciate, then I will not be talking from the back of my throat, because now I am talking from the front of my mouth. So, my question to you, do you think that I can do the show this way?
It's the ratings department on line 1. We've just been canceled.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Okay, so I think pretty much all of us at this point are texters, right? Some level of texting. Even my mom texts. But are you a voice noter? You know that little function where you can actually send someone a recorded note of your voice rather than a text? Are you guys voice noters?
I don't know why. For some reason, it's very intimidating to me. And it's like weird.
You speak for a living.
I know, because it's like, it's a microphone. It's something I speak into every day.
I don't want to blow your mind or give you stage fright, but you're basically voice noting Toronto right now.
I know. No, don't make me think about it.
You're basically voice noting on a group text, which is very offside.
No, see, I just feel like I'm just like having a conversation here, whereas that puts a lot of pressure. Suddenly I feel like it has to be like concise. It's got to be funny. I got to make you laugh. I got to make you cry. I feel like there's a lot of expectation. It feels like a lot of pressure.
Gosh.
The only person I have done that with is you, because you love doing it.
I love a voice note. I'll tell you why. So texting is fine. I do text as well. But if you ever have to send, sometimes you're doing a text and you're like, this is basically an email at this point. It's so long. Mm-hmm. I'm usually out walking the dog and stuff, so I don't want to be one of those people who I make fun of who's just walking around the streets with their head buried in their phone crossing an intersection. So I'd rather have the AirPods in, be looking around, enjoying my surroundings, and talking to you, sending you a detailed note where you can detect my tone, my sarcasm, my humor, especially if you're voice noting someone you're dating or something, or if you're having kind of a debate, let's call it. You don't want them to misunderstand something and think you're being snooty. They can hear everything. Nothing can get misconstrued.
I will admit that every time I've heard one of your voiced notes, texts, they sound warm. They're nice. They're usually really nice. Here's the thing. Why don't you just call me?
Well, you want me to call you? Because you
I'm
generally
not
don't
pick
pick up your phone when I call. This is why I voice note you. You can listen to it on demand. It's like the on demand of calling. I'm sending you something. You don't want to talk to me right now. You listen to it in an hour.
Okay, but like if I did this with my husband, let's say, he'd just tune it out the way he tunes me out in real life. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
he'd
maybe-
hear my voice and he'd be like, blah, blah, blah. Whereas a text, he has to actually respond.
Okay, so maybe your husband's the exception. You can voice note with everybody else. I have friends who exclusively voice note. In fact, there's one girl that we only voice note with, and she told me that she goes, I love your voice notes because I'm reading her text verbatim here. She goes, your voice notes are like private podcasts. So instead of voice noting her, she says that I send her private podcasts. And I kind of like that.
Let me send you a private podcast?
That's what she calls them because I provide a lot of color.
Okay.
Steph, are you a voice noter?
No, I don't need to voice note because when I text, everyone says that they can literally hear my voice when I text.
That's because you have one level though. You're always sassy and sarcastic.
Yeah, and then if I want to make sure someone doesn't take it the wrong way, I'm like, LOL. I'm laughing.
Okay, dealer's choice.
Yeah, she's like, I hate you. Laugh out loud.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI.
It is National Absurdity Day today. So naturally, we thought, let's turn this into a game.
Yeah, and let's be absurd for once because we're never absurd. Usually we're pretty normal and,
We're
even keeled.
on the straight and narrow here.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to toss it over to producer Steph. She's going to test us on Christmas songs, and we have to guess whether it's real or whether it's absurd.
Okay. How
Okay.
hard can that be?
I mean, it seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay.
50-50.
Pooja, you going to start?
Sure.
Okay, so tell me, is this real or fake? Disco Christmas.
Real or absurd?
Oh, sorry, real or absurd?
Come on.
Disco Christmas by Universal Robot Band.
What?
Disco Christmas
I really want that
by
to be real.
Universal Robot Band.
Please say it's
That's absurd.
Yeah!
It's real.
I don't know what a disco Christmas is,
It's
but
my-
I want one.
Honestly, just from that little taste, that's my new favorite Christmas song.
Same.
I love that.
Okay, Gurdeep, here's yours. Real or absurd? Reindeer Traffic Jam by Elvis.
Okay, that's fake.
It is fake.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Elvis.
Okay.
Okay, Pooch, here's yours.
Okay.
Present Face by Garfunkel and Oates.
What?
Present Face
Come on. Stop
by
it.
Garfunkel and Oates.
No, that's absurd.
And your face is all contorted as you're trying to erase the truth behind your smile. Don't you know you got a case
Was that?
of present face?
Hold on. Garfunkel and is that actually like Garfunkel from Simon and Garfunkel?
No.
No.
That's just a
It's
stupid
like a
name?
made-up
It's
band
just an
name.
absurd name.
I would have guessed
But
fake
what
too.
does present face even look like?
Like you're the rapper. You tell us.
Do they have resting present face? Okay, Gurdeep, here's yours. Tinsel Tantrum by Yule Log and the Firestarters.
I'm gonna say that's real.
It's fake.
Oh. It's absurd.
It's absurd. Sorry, it's
Yeah, it's
absurd.
absurd, Steph.
It's National Absurdity Day.
Sorry,
Okay.
it's absurd. It's absurd.
So far, we're not doing that well. It's 1-0. Okay. Only after 4 songs.
Pooja, here is your last one. Mistletoe Nail Fungus by the Pine Needles.
I'm sorry. If this is not absurd, I'm leaving.
It's absurd.
Okay.
Okay. She's on the board.
Okay, I'll stay.
This is the chance for me to win or for
Okay.
us to end in a boring tie.
Okay, Gurdeep, this is the last one. Honky the Christmas Goose by Johnny Bauer.
That feels very Canadian and very real.
Honky, honky, the Christmas goose got so fat that he was no use till he learned how to blow his nose. Honk the way a goose nose blows.
By the way, that is the real Johnny Bauer, the late, great Johnny Bauer goaltender for the Maple Leafs.
Wow.
So you think that maybe we could start playing some of these? What do you think?
Well, I don't think that might be above our pay grade. Glad I've gone and redeemed myself.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
It's American Thanksgiving. One of the few things America does better than Canada. Thanksgiving. But they're off like the whole week. They're just couching it.
There's like a mega sales happening. There's parades.
I
It's
love
a
that,
whole thing.
I love that you focus on the sales. For me,
Well-
I'm like, all the sports are happening today. It's a perfect day to couch. The guys are couching, watching sports. You're couching on your phone, doing shopping.
It's so true.
Yeah.
But there is a movement afoot. And today
Afoot?
also,
You're
yes.
dropping in a foot on me?
Afoot. It's gaining some traction. On the same day, it's also turkey-free Thanksgiving, where there's a bunch of people who are saying, listen, turkey's overrated. There's other options. There's alternatives. Maybe we don't have to have turkey on Thanksgiving. And keep in mind, we're only a few weeks away from Christmas. They're going to have turkey again. In the U.S., it's so close.
Okay, so here's my thing. Turkey is not like a front burner bird. Like turkey is a bird that comes out from behind the curtain twice a year. It gets Thanksgiving, it gets Christmas. It's not chicken. It's not beef. It's not even fish. Like turkey gets 2 days a year. I don't want to upstage turkey. It gets Thanksgiving, it gets Christmas, and then you don't hear from it for another like 10 months.
But there's better options that are already upstaging it. Like it doesn't need to be upstaged because there's other stuff that tastes better. In fact, we put this on our socials. So go to chfi.com go to our socials at CHFI. You'll see on our stories, we asked you, is turkey overrated? 54% of you said not overrated, but 46% said overrated. That's closer than I thought it was going to be.
It's closer than I would have thought. Look, it's not my favorite meat. As a kid, I didn't like it. I think I developed a taste for it. Now, I mean, it's a staple. Turkey's got to be on the table for Thanksgiving and Christmas. But here's the thing. I like it in conjunction with other meats. So like at our Christmas dinners, Thanksgiving dinners, it's always been, yes, turkey is the star, but there's also a ham.
Wow.
There's also like a roast. There's other things, but it's one of the stars. If this was
you really take this upstaging thing seriously.
Yeah, if this was a playbill,
these are co-stars.
Everything is a show for me. If this was a play, it's not like the lead title, but it's if you're flipping through the playbill, it's in there.
But you know what? It takes so long. Gemma commenting on our post saying, "Nay, so dry and tasteless. I've had ham with a delicious honey crust." And Meg saying, "Turkey is always tradition, but my daughter is vegan, so we've had to come up with alternatives."
Yeah, Kurt also commenting, "Yay for turkey. It is not the same without it. I love the smell of turkey cooking." So yeah, it's a lot of it is rooted in tradition, but I'm giving a thumbs up to turkey, but only twice a year.
Thanks for listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Listen to Pooja and Gurdeep live weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Only on 98.1 CHFI.
Toronto's perfect music mix.
I'm registered dietitian Abby Sharp, and on my new podcast, Bite Back with Abby Sharp, I'll be dismantling the multi-billion-dollar diet industry that keeps us in a cycle of self-loathing and food fear. Join me every Tuesday for expert interviews, engaging conversations, and my signature science and sass to bust myths, correct misinformation, and help you break free from diet culture for good. Listen for free on the Seeker app or wherever you get your podcasts.